Nalgonda. Today, Madam, hearty welcome today's session. Our respected today's resource person, Dr. Tirumala Mote, Assistant Professor, Department of Applied Bioscience, Mahatma Gandhi University, Nalgonda. Madam has huge experience in the field of life sciences and bioscience, especially physiology, plant physiology. So, Madam today is going to share her knowledge among our students and friends. Today, Madam will going to enlighten us plant respiration in plants. Wholeheartedly, we are wholeheartedly welcoming you, Madam. Please, you start the session. Dr. Mote Tirumala, Madam Gar. Okay, Madam Garu, wholeheartedly welcoming you today's session. We have already introduced your profession and also your huge experience. Madam is here. Madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Shall I start the meeting? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Madam. Please start the session. Madam, please start the session.
Okay.
You are
Good
audible.
morning, all
Madam.
of you. Good morning, all of you.
Good
Today
morning,
we will
ma'am.
Respected participants, please you respond our respected resource person. Madam has a huge experience. So all of you respond positively and interact with our respected madam. Okay. Madam, please click on the slideshow.
Okay. All of you, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Today we'll discuss about respiration. Actually, no, in physiology, respiration means simply movement of oxygen from outside environment into the cells and removal of carbon dioxide in opposite direction. In physiology, we give this definition for respiration. Whereas when coming to this biochemical definition, this is altogether different from physiological definition. So in biochemistry, what we discuss is, it is a metabolic process by the organism which is useful to obtain energy. This energy can be in the form of ATP and NADPH. So altogether the definition differs. So here the production of ATP and NADPH is taking place by oxidizing the nutrients which we take up through diet. So in this respiration, not only oxidation of nutrients is going on, but also releasing of waste products along with production of energy. So here simply what we can say about this respiration is degradation of carbohydrates, proteins, fats into release of energy, carbon dioxide and water. Nothing but breakdown of all these complex materials like carbohydrates, proteins, fats is taking place to release energy along with carbon dioxide and water. So here, this is altogether opposite to the photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, what happens? Synthesis of food material takes place. Synthesis of sugar moiety takes place. Whereas in respiration, what is happening means simply breakdown of these sugars to release energy. That is also in the presence of oxygen in aerobic conditions. So this energy is useful for
Excuse me,
the
madam.
plant.
Excuse me. Please
Is it clear?
click on the slideshow. Madam, please
Sir.
click on the slideshow. It is visible better.
Slide.
Click on,
Okay.
click on the slideshow.
Okay, I got it. Is it clear now?
Yeah, madam. Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. So here, while photosynthesis takes place in leaves and stems, these are the two main parts where photosynthesis takes place. But coming to this respiration, it also happens in roots along with leaves and stems. So respiration takes place in not only leaves and stems, but also in roots. So here, when we come to this equation, glucose C
Okay, my dear friends, due to the interruption of the internet, madam, I hope madam is not here. So, okay, in plant respiration, uh, the in eukaryotic living organism and prokaryotic living organism, we are uh, observed some of the differences between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. The respiration takes place in prokaryotes. The entire process we are observed in the cytoplasm. But in eukaryotes, the respiration is takes place. We are observed in the what we can say that mitochondria. So mitochondria is the cell organelle which is most important in the cell respiration. So during the uh, respiration, the mitochondria is involvement is more. So whether the prokaryotic living organism, whether the eukaryotic living organism, whether lower organism or higher organism, whatever it may be. So this respiration has the different steps we are observed, whether the prokaryotes or eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, we are observed one of the important stage, stage that is the glycolysis. So glycolysis is the stage wherever whether the prokaryotes or eukaryotes or anaerobic respiration or aerobic respiration, aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration, glycolysis is the first step. Glycolysis is the first step of the respiration. Okay, so glycolysis is the first step. Then the second step of the glycolysis we are observed, that is pyruvic acid oxidative decarboxylation. Pyruvic acid oxidative decarboxylation. And the third step is the Krebs cycle, and fourth step is the electron transportation chain, ETS. So these are the steps we are observed in respiration. Okay, so whether the plants or even though animals, prokaryotes or eukaryotes, whatever it may be, we are observed these steps in the respiration. Okay, madam is going to, madam is joining. I hope madam is here. If madam is here, madam will continue. Otherwise, no problem. So, madam, till now, madam is joining due to interruption, net interruption. Okay. Madam, please you share the screen. Madam, please. Madam, Tirumala Madam Garu. Okay, right.
Am I audible, sir?
You are audible, but your screen is not visible, madam.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's
okay
visible,
now?
madam. Yeah, madam.
There was some technical glitch. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay, madam.
So here, this slide we were speaking about. So with the help of photosynthesis, synthesis of glucose moiety, sugar moiety takes place, which is getting oxidized with the help of respiration to release energy. So in plants, two types of respiration is going on, that is dark respiration and photorespiration. So I was telling this photorespiration is not mentioned in your syllabus, though I want to cover to let you know the information little. So first kind, that is dark respiration, it occurs in the presence as well as in the absence of light. Whereas coming to this photorespiration, it occurs only exclusively in the presence of light. So this coming to this photorespiration, this can also be called as oxidative photosynthetic carbon cycle, or it can also be called as C2 photosynthesis, where C2 molecule is involved, hence it is mentioned C2 photosynthesis. So here what happens means important enzyme is playing a role, that is Rubisco. This Rubisco oxygenates RUBP. So ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate is getting oxygenated with the help of Rubisco enzyme. So due to this process, wasting of some energy is taking place, which is produced by photosynthesis. So this photorespiration, it is completely dependent upon light. So it occurs in green tissues of C3 plants as well as very little it occurs in C4 plants. So this photorespiration is coupled process. It is coupled with Calvin cycle, that is C3 cycle. So completely it is coupled to C3 cycle. So for this to occur, this photorespiration requires through three places, that is chloroplast, peroxisome and mitochondria. So this photorespiration is accomplished in three sites where it involves glycolate, that is 2-carbon moiety. Hence it is also called as glycolate pathway or C2 cycle, which I have mentioned earlier, C2 cycle. So here 2-carbon containing molecule glycolate is involved. Hence it is also called as glycolate pathway. In this pathway, one molecule of ammonia is getting released per molecule of one carbon dioxide. So one molecule of carbon dioxide and one molecule of ammonia is getting released in this photorespiration. Here, one point we need to remember is there are no reduced coenzymes nor ATPs are getting generated in this photorespiration. Instead, it is utilizing the energy to drive this C2 cycle. So it is wasting some of the energy which is produced by the photosynthesis. It is not producing any of the ATP or reduced coenzymes. Instead, it is utilizing or wasting some of the energy which is produced by the photosynthesis. See here, by this you can understand. Here this is Calvin cycle. So here this is photorespiration, which is completely coupled with this Calvin cycle. Photorespiration is completely coupled. Here if you observe, one molecule of ammonia is getting released and here one molecule of CO2 is getting released. If you observe this Rubisco, it's important to oxygenize this RUBP, ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. This is 5-carbon containing compound. It is getting hydrolyzed to 2-carbon containing glycolate and 3-carbon containing glycerate. So 2 plus 3 is getting hydrolyzed to. So where here this is forming glycine. Here this glycine again it is losing 1 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. And this glycine is forming serine. Later on, it is forming glycerate. And here, if you observe, ATP is getting hydrolyzed. Nothing but ATP is utilized here to convert glycerate to 3-phosphoglycerate. Later on, again, this forms RUBP and enters into Calvin cycle. It can enter. So these two cycles are coupled with each other. Here, this is glycolate pathway. Clearly, it is mentioned. For this glycolate pathway to occur, 3 sites are important in the cell. One is chloroplast, another one is peroxisome, and another one is mitochondria. Here, this portion I am explaining here, this photorespiration. It is taking place in 3 sites, chloroplast, peroxisome, mitochondria. If you observe here you can see Calvin cycle, it is clubbed with. So ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, it is getting oxygenated with the help of Rubisco and it is forming phosphoglycolate, where this is 2-carbon containing compound. Here you can see phosphoglyceric acid, this is 3-carbon containing compound. So here if you observe, from this phosphoglycolate, phosphate is removed and it is forming glycolate. This glycolate now enters into the peroxisome. Now it forms glyoxylate. This glyoxylate later on it forms glycine. Then this glycine enters into the mitochondria where 1 carbon. Here you can see 2 molecules are mentioned here. 2 molecules of ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Again 2 molecules of phosphoglycolate. 2 molecules of PGA. Same wise 2 molecules of glycolate and these 2 molecules are entering into peroxisome, which are getting converted into 2 molecules of glyoxylate, and these glyoxylate molecules again they are forming 2 glycines. Here if you observe 2 glycines which are each are 2 carbon containing compounds. So 4 carbons here we have. 1 carbon is getting released in the form of carbon dioxide. Remaining 3 carbons are forming as serine. So 3 carbon containing amino acid. This serine enters into the peroxisome and forms hydroxypyruvate. Here if you observe NADH plus H plus is getting oxidized to NAD. So it is utilizing the energy. And this glycerate, from this hydroxypyruvate it forms glycerate. Then this glycerate enters into the chloroplast again, where 1 molecule of ATP is hydrolyzed to ATP to form PGA, phosphoglyceric acid. And this phosphoglyceric acid again enters into the Calvin cycle. So this cycle goes on. Here I have mentioned the whole process which I have explained here. So here if you observe in peroxisome, glycolate is forming glyoxylate and then glyoxylate is forming glycine. So this glyoxylate, it is getting converted to glycine in peroxisome with the help of important enzyme called as glutamate glyoxylate amino transferase. So here this point you need to remember, as I have told you, this PGA again it enters into Calvin cycle. So here, important enzyme what we discussed is Rubisco. Here, this Rubisco has higher affinity for oxygen because here this oxygenates RUBP. So for this oxygenation, it has higher affinity, which is mostly occurs at increased temperatures. So this photorespiration, higher rate of photorespiration mostly takes place in hot and dry environments. As this Rubisco has higher affinity for oxygen at increased temperatures, so this photorespiration is taking place at higher rate in hot and dry environments. So this glycolate pathway has one more importance because here, if you see 2-phosphoglycolate is forming, nothing but this 5-carbon containing is getting hydrolyzed to 3-carbon containing PGA, 2-carbon containing phosphoglycerate. This phosphoglycolate is toxic compound. So this toxic metabolite again enters into this cycle and gets detoxified with this glycolate cycle. So this is the importance of this glycolate cycle. Though it wastes some of the energy which is produced by photosynthesis. Am I clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we'll enter into dark respiration. This is independent of light, whereas photo respiration is completely dependent on light, whereas coming to this dark respiration, it is completely independent of light. So it occurs in all living tissues of aerobic organisms, and it is not coupled to C3 cycle, whereas photorespiration is coupled to C3 cycle, Calvin cycle that is, whereas coming to this dark respiration, it is not coupled to C3 cycle. So here, for this to occur, two sites are important in the cell, that is cytoplasm and mitochondria, whereas we have discussed here for photorespiration, 3 sites are important: chloroplast, peroxisome, mitochondria. Whereas for this dark respiration, 2 sites are important. They are cytoplasm and mitochondria. Whereas here it involves glycolysis, TCA cycle, and ETC. Here I have mentioned as terminal oxidation for ETC. So 3 steps. Dark respiration takes place in 3 steps, that is glycolysis, TCA, that is Krebs cycle, and ETC. So for this glycolysis, it requires cytoplasm, whereas for this TCA and this terminal oxidation, it requires mitochondria. So 2 sites are important for dark respiration. So here, oxygen is consumed only in terminal oxidation, whereas carbon dioxide is released at several places in dark respiration. And here, coming to this, terminal oxidation involves transfer of electrons to oxygen and formation of water. And one more point, one more difference with this photorespiration, there one molecule of ammonia is getting released, whereas here no ammonia is produced in this dark respiration. And here another difference for this photorespiration and dark respiration is, in photorespiration, no reduced coenzymes are formed and no ATPs are formed, whereas in dark respiration, reduced coenzymes and ATPs are formed. So dark respiration, sometimes it can be mentioned as simply respiration, which also takes place in microalgae. So microalgae also performs dark respiration, not only higher order organisms. So here plant respiration occurs in 24 hours per day, whereas coming to this night respiration, when compared to the day respiration, night respiration is more evident because in day respiration it is clubbed with photosynthesis. Photosynthesis also takes place in day as well as respiration, whereas during nights respiration is more evident because photosynthesis ceases or ends. So plants have mitochondria. They do have mitochondria, hence both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration occurs in them. So here when compared to the anaerobic respiration, in aerobic respiration, most of the energy is getting released. So here, coming to this anaerobic respiration, in anaerobic respiration, with respect to plants, end product is ethanol. This ethanol is very much toxic. Hence, this anaerobic respiration in plants takes place seldom. Very rarely anaerobic respiration takes place because the end product is ethanol, which is very, very toxic. Coming to actively respiring regions, floral as well as vegetative buds, germinating seeds, stem and root apices are actively respiring regions in plants. So for this respiration, important moiety required is hexose sugar, which is formed from complex carbohydrates. So complex carbohydrates are formed with the help of photosynthesis in plants. Later, they are getting hydrolyzed to simple sugars, for example, hexose sugar, which enters into the respiration to release energy in the presence of oxygen, that is aerobic respiration. Whereas if it enters into anaerobic respiration, that is without oxygen, it forms ethanol in plants. So based on the oxygen present and based on the oxygen absent condition, two types of respirations, that is anaerobic respiration and second one is aerobic respiration. In both these processes, breakdown of sugar is taking place to release energy. So anaerobic respiration, it occurs when oxygen is absent, whereas in aerobic respiration, it occurs when oxygen is present. But the baseline is breakdown of sugar is taking place to release energy. So when more amount of energy is released in aerobic respiration, but very less amount of energy is released in anaerobic respiration. That is the difference between this aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Coming to the differences, here and is used in this process. Coming to this aerobic respiration, whereas in anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not utilized. And this aerobic respiration mostly takes place in cells of higher plants as well as animals, whereas in anaerobic respiration, this takes place in animals, plants to less extent, whereas in bacteria, fungi, and certain endoparasites, it takes place freely. And coming to this aerobic respiration, glucose is completely oxidized, whereas in anaerobic respiration, glucose is partially oxidized. Coming to the end products, mainly carbon dioxide and water along with energy. Whereas coming to this anaerobic respiration, carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol, either ethyl alcohol or lactic acid is the end product which is formed in anaerobic respiration along with energy. So coming to this aerobic respiration, for one glucose molecule, 38 ATP molecules are formed in aerobic respiration, whereas in anaerobic respiration, for one molecule of glucose, 2 ATP molecules are released. So this, coming to this aerobic respiration, it takes place both in cytoplasm as well as mitochondria of the cell, whereas anaerobic respiration, it takes place only in cytoplasm of the cell. Coming to this anaerobic respiration, as we have discussed, along with ATP, two molecules of ATP, either lactic acid can be formed or ethyl alcohol can be formed. So when we talk about plants, we should discuss only ethyl alcohol. So anaerobic respiration can also take place in microorganisms. Hence, I have mentioned two types of fermentations here. So anaerobic respiration, when glucose is partially oxidized, nothing but it occurs without using oxygen to yield lactic acid or ethyl alcohol along with energy. So glucose can form lactic acid and two molecules of ATP in lactic acid fermentation, which mainly takes place in microorganisms. Whereas coming to this plant's glucose moiety, that is C6H12O6, gets hydrolyzed to ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide, and 2 ATP moieties. 2 ATP moieties are common coming to this lactic acid fermentation and alcoholic fermentation. Lactic acid fermentation, as I have told you, mostly occurs in microorganisms, whereas coming to this alcoholic fermentations, it can also occur in yeast as well as plants. So this lactic acid fermentation, here you can observe this glucose moiety enters into this glycolysis and net ATP would be 2 ATP and end product is 2 pyruvate molecules. These 2 pyruvate molecules are forming lactates, 2 lactates in lactic acid fermentations. Here if you observe, when glucose is getting converted to pyruvate, here NAD is getting converted to NADH plus H plus. Nothing but NAD is getting reduced to NADH plus H plus, where energy is stored. But the stored energy, which is in the form of 2 NADH plus H plus, is getting oxidized to. Nothing but it is, the energy is again being utilized. So this NADH plus H plus is getting converted to NAD plus. So energy is formed as well as it is being utilized. So energy is being formed from glucose to pyruvate, that is glycolysis, but the formed energy is being utilized in the fermentation process, lactic acid fermentation process, where the pyruvate forms 2 lactate moieties. 2 pyruvate molecules are forming as 2 lactates. So the end net energy would be only 2 ATP molecules, because 2 NADH, which is getting converted to 2 NADH plus H plus, again it is being reutilized. Hence, the end net energy would be only 2 ATP molecules in lactic acid fermentation. So here, large organisms, they need lot of ATP to keep it pure. So here, if organisms, higher order organisms, they are not breathing correctly, means they are not getting enough oxygen into the organism. For that, the organism enters into anaerobic organism. Here I am speaking about animals. So you can compare both these plants and animals coming to this respiration part. So anaerobic organism, which is taking place in higher order animals, where when the organism is not getting enough oxygen. For that, the organism enters into anaerobic respiration and produces lactic acid. So this lactic acid production can be seen in higher order organisms as well as in microorganisms. So whenever the organism gets oxygen, sufficient oxygen, again the produced oxygen, lactic acid gets broken down so that oxygen depth is paid. And coming to this plants and yeast, as I have discussed, alcoholic fermentation, nothing but here glucose gets hydrolyzed to form pyruvate. This is common in lactic acid fermentation as well as in alcohol fermentation. But here the formed pyruvate, it forms ethanol. Here the formed pyruvate first forms acetaldehyde. 2 molecules of pyruvate are formed from 1 molecule of glucose, where 2 ADPs are getting converted to 2 ATPs. Nothing but 2 ATP molecules are generated, as well as 2 NADH molecules are generated when 1 molecule of glucose is getting converted to 2 molecules of pyruvate. Here glucose molecule is 6 carbon containing compound, pyruvate molecule is 3 carbon containing molecule. Hence 2 molecules are mentioned here. So the formed 2 molecules of pyruvate gets hydrolyzed to acetaldehyde, 2 molecules of acetaldehyde molecules. Here acetaldehyde is 2 carbon containing compound. So here 2 carbons are removed from 2 pyruvates. So in the form of 2 carbon dioxide molecules. So 3 carbon containing compound is forming as 2 carbon containing compound, that is acetaldehyde. Now this acetaldehyde, it utilizes NADH, reduced NADH molecules. Nothing but NADH molecules are again oxidized to NAD molecules, nothing but at the end, 2 acetaldehyde molecules are forming 2 ethanols, utilizing 2 NADH molecules which are produced in glycolysis. Nothing but the end net ATP would be only 2 ATP molecules. With the help of glycolysis, it is forming 2 ATPs, 2 NADH molecules. But in this alcohol fermentation from pyruvate to ethanol, it is reutilizing the formed NADH molecules. So the remaining net ATP would be only 2 ATP molecules like lactic acid fermentation. Is it clear? Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So coming to this